bum 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 ba da da dum bum bum ba dum ba ba dum bum 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 ba dum bum 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 ba dum bum 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 ba da da dum bum bum ba da ba ba dum da 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 dun da 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 dum ba da 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 dun da dun da dun dun bum ba da da ba da 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 dun da dun da dun dun da dun da da dum ba da da dun dun da dun da dun 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 dun. Hello, my friends. Hello, my mighties. It's wonderful to see you all my friends. Hello, Paula and Shelly and Pat and Linda and Christine and Julie. And hello, all my friends from Facebook as well. So, my name is Jo at Calabrese, and I'm here every Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to teach you my method, my ways, my understanding of for you to use homeopathy. This is for you to learn how to use homeopathy. Not for me. I'm there. I'm always reading. I'm always studying. But nonetheless, this is for you to be able to really master this incredible medicine. And so for those of you who know me, hello, my friends. Hello again. It's wonderful to see you. Today we're trying something new. We're on Facebook. Where are we, Perry? Twitter? YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook tonight. It's our first time that we've done this. We're hoping to be able to get out to more people in a shorter amount of time. Not seeing her here either. First time joining and looking. She's on Facebook right now, but I don't see her here. So I don't know what that means. So I have to keep checking. Not you. We're working on it. I've got my tech person on it, my son, and my other tech person, my husband, working on it right now. So, alrighty, let's get started, because tonight we're going to talk about long haul symptoms, if you know what I mean, and long term or long haul fatigue, regardless of the etiology. What does etiology mean? Well, if you don't understand a word I'm saying, I'd urge you to look it up, because I want to move pretty quickly tonight. So regardless of the etiology, how about garden variety fatigue? Skill up, my friends. Let us get into this. I've got you covered. I want you to skill up. I want you to be so tight with this. I want you to know, to have your skills so honed, so shined that it gleams, that your knowledge gleams. Now, it's never going to be 100%. Nothing is 100%. Neither is homeopathy 100%. They're saying they logged out and back in again and still don't see me on Facebook.
Scroll down there.
We're going to scroll down here.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
Yes, it's on.
It is on. Okay. All right. Well, we might have a little trouble tonight because we're trying something new. But you will be able to see me afterwards, maybe tomorrow. I hate to do that too. I'd like to have people. Hi, Bob and Deb Dunbar. Hello from St. Louis. Hello. I see you on Facebook, says Tara. Yep, a lot of people are seeing us on. Yes, we see you on Facebook, but not on Mighties. Good on Facebook. Good on Facebook. Okay, good. Very happy to hear that. Okay, so this is what I want to point out to you. You know, I use my repertory. Well, first of all, whenever we have a protocol, you know what a protocol is? It means that it is a previously determined through clinical experience over years, if not decades, of use in whatever the paradigm is. We're talking about, of course, about homeopathy, but it could be any medical paradigm. When we're using a protocol, it means that it is predetermined. It's not something that you come up with today. It's what has been determined years ago clinically through the experience, exquisite experience. Mostly what I teach are the Banerjee protocols, but there are other protocols as well that I teach. So if we have a protocol for a specific condition, we know that there is one. Are we going to skip over that and say, no, I don't think I'm going to use the protocol? No, my friends. We are, I'm seeing Joe on Mighties. Okay, I see it. So some people are saying they're seeing me on Mighties and some are saying they do not. Facebook is good though. Facebook is good. Alrighty, so we are going to use what has been given to us out of their largesse, and we're going to start with that. Why? Because especially if you're new, you don't know homeopathy, you've only been using it a few years or a few months or even a couple decades, it's still, I'm sorry, what we need to do is fall back on the experts. So we're going to use protocols first. If you don't have a protocol, or if you don't know a protocol, the next thing we do, of course, and I always teach people to join classes. I mean, these classes I teach are very specific. What to do if you don't have a protocol? What to do if you have a protocol and it acted but it stopped acting? What do you do if you have a protocol and it didn't act? In other words, once it gets sticky, what do you do? Well, that's when I say we go to our repertory. And this one, of course, is Robin Murphy. I've been referring to this a great deal in the last many months. This is called the Metta Repertory by Dr. Robin Murphy. It's the 4th edition. 3rd edition is fine too, but I like to use the 4th edition. It's what I use in my academy. It's what we study deeply in the academy, particularly in the mastery program. So this is what I'm going to point out to you. I want to point out to you that when there is a viral infection, now I want to also point out, parenthetically, there's a lot of controversy around viruses right now. Whether or not they've been proven, they've not been proven, whatever, it doesn't matter. I said this last week. It doesn't matter whether viruses have been proven or they have not been proven. We're still going to use this rubric. This rubric is right here. I'm going to put my finger on it, and you'll see it right there. Viral infections. Now, you see these remedies here? I have a little asterisk here to find it quickly for myself, for my own use. Yes, I mark up my books. Mighties are okay now.
No sound, though.
Oh, no sound? Okay, Mighties are okay now. Alrighty. Viral infections. The most important, one of the most important medicines, when I look up viral infections are, hold on, I just lost it. The wind blew and it moved my page. Hold on. Is Gelsemium, Baptisia, Oscillococcinum. You know, that's that combination medicine from boron. Influenzinum. And what else do we have here? Carcinosin. All very good medicines. And what is really fascinating, when I look through this list of medicines that I just pointed out to you in that rubric, one medicine is not there that I learned many years ago from the Banerjees. And that is, when these medicines that we're looking at here, Gelsemium and Baptisia and Influenzinum and Oscillococcinum and carcinosin are not acting or are not, no, that's not the word, do not fit the condition, I often refer back to, look at Leanne, she already knows, Thuja occidentalis. Thuja, the J is silent. Some people pronounce Thuja, but I believe the correct pronunciation is Thuja occidentalis, and it is an excellent medicine for when we don't know, we're not so sure. Now, I don't want to leave this vague for you. Okay, I'll tell you the page I'm on is page 2499. Good question, Catherine, because that means you own the book. Listen, my friends, if you're serious about homeopathy, you really need to own this book. You really do. If you're serious, it's not going to give you the protocols. No, I teach you the protocols. It's not going to give you the potencies or the frequencies, but it gives you a really great roadmap. Okay, let's get back to this now. Long haul. Is it long haul? Is it something else? Do we really even know absolutely what it is? Because I'm going to tell you, my friends, I don't believe that it has been proven in a blood test that someone has long haul. What we're going by is clinical information. Ever since I didn't feel well back in July of 2021, I've been fatigued ever since I got that respiratory thing. Does that mean we know exactly what the name of the disease is? No, we really don't. Now, there are times when we take a gander at it, right? But let's not hang our hat on something so firmly that we can't unhang the hat, that we can't take the hat off the hook and start thinking about putting the hat in another place. I want you to always be open. The most unscientific thing to do is to say case closed. Science is never closed. We are always moving in science. We are always moving in human health. We must always be open and available to ideas. So, when I think of the long haul symptoms, the first thing I think of is fatigue, right? That's what most people are. That's really what they're describing. Most people. Yes, it doesn't matter. We're going to use the symptoms. Now, if we happen to know the name of a condition, of course we're going to use it. The bone is broken. Okay, so we have a fracture and we're going to use a medicine specific for fractures. We don't have to go just by the symptoms. But when we're not really sure what it is, let's go by the symptoms. Why do we always use symptoms? Because, my friends, symptoms don't lie. They are real. They're precisely what people are experiencing. Now, the only time they lie, and I say this time and time again, is if someone's taking a drug, and then we call those symptoms side effects. But symptoms don't lie. If someone was sick back in July of 21, ever since they had that respiratory infection, and what's happened now is that they have this fatigue. Is it long haul? Who cares? Is it long-term fatigue? Whatever, it is fatigue. Let's use our best medicine for fatigue. And if we look at this viral medicine, or this viral rubric, I'm going to show it to you once again. Page 2499. You're going to see the medicines here with my finger. Okay? We see Gelsemium. It's one of the most important remedies there. Now, why is that important? Because if we know our materia medica, we don't have to know materia medical inside and out, but the more you skill up, my friends, the faster this will come to you. Gelsemium happens to be one of our best medicines for if it is indeed a viral infection, but it also happens to be one of our best medicines for fatigue. Now, I'm not talking about fatigue that just happened yesterday for a few hours. I'm talking about fatigue that follows us, that drags us down. Now, not too long ago, well, actually every day, my husband and I walk on the beach in the heat, in the sun. It's about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. By that time, at this time of the year in Florida, it's hot. And so we get back and we're very perspired. We drink water before we leave. We even sometimes have electrolytes in it. We often put salt in it. And it matters not how much we drink. When we get back, we are beat. We walk pretty rigorously on sand that's soft, so you have to step in and then climb out and step in and climb out. It's quite the walk. And we are quite fatigued when we get back. Not every time, but most times, especially if it's very hot and we've perspired. Now, there are some medicines that are really great for loss of fluids. And we know that one of them is China, or quina. Sometimes it's pronounced quina. And so I tried it one day. It helped. It helped. But it wasn't until I took Gelsemium 30 one day, and within about 4 hours, I was back to myself 20 years ago. I had so much energy. I felt so revived with one dose of Gelsemium 30. So it wasn't long haul. It wasn't long-term fatigue, but it was indeed fatigue, regardless of the etiology. The etiology for me was that I had lost fluids and I had worked so hard in the hot sun walking on that beach. And so Gelsemium 30 revived me. Now, did it matter? It doesn't matter what the cause is. Sometimes it does matter. Sometimes, as I said, sometimes we know exactly it's a sinus infection, okay? We know that. Okay, then we're going to use medicines for sinus infections. And then we're going to use the symptoms of the sinus infection in order to narrow it down so that we can determine which medicine is best chosen. But what I'm telling you is, if there's fatigue, especially long haul, regardless of the cause, we're going to consider Gelsemium because it also happens to be the #1 medicine in that rubric. How do we know it's #1? Because it's bold and it's caps. That's how we know. That's how we know. What potency should we be using? Well, I used a 30. Could I have used a 6? I could have. Could I have used a 12? Could have. How about a 200? How about a 1M? A 10M? How about a 50M? I chose a 30. And I chose a 30, to be honest, because it's what I had. I actually don't even know if I have Gelsemium 200. I do have a 30, though, and it acted. Now, if I only had a 6, I would have taken the 6, and I may have repeated it a little bit more. I might have had to have repeated it twice instead of using only one dose. So, in this situation, it worked in one dose. It's all that was needed. Now, I had a young boy come to me years ago who had mono and mononucleosis. That was what he was diagnosed with. And he was told he was going to be in bed for weeks. And he had already been in bed for about 10 days on the couch, missing school, couldn't go to work. And I suggested that he consider Gelsemium. Actually, I think at that time I used a 200. He took a dose in the morning and then took another dose that night. The next day woke up and he said he never felt fatigued again. It never came back. It was gone in one day. So that's mono, or was it? Whatever it was. It was causing grand fatigue in a young man who otherwise was energetic. Yes. Oh, let's see what I got here for other. Let me just check what people are saying so I can make sure that we're covering. Yeah, Gelsemium 30 worked well. 200 made me more anxious. Could happen. Ec 1M still scares me. Don't be afraid, Heather. I'm not going to suggest that you should never use a 1M, but there are times, and I teach this in some of my classes, when to use a 1M. There are times when it's very specific and it's important to use it. Yep. Gelsemium is awesome for mono. You bet. My nephew was over mono in 3 days. Gelsemium 200 and cyanosis for the spleen. Normal size spleen in 5 days. Yes. Chronic spleen enlargement when a spleen is what they'd call ample, where it can be palpated. And that's cyanosis americanus. It's a fabulous medicine. I've used it in a 30 and I've also used it in a 200. How about with MS and multiple sclerosis? What do you think, Luana? What do you think? Did I say use Gelsemium in these conditions but not those conditions? Remember, we're using symptoms, my friends. We're using symptoms. I'm Epstein-Barr. Well, let's put it this way. If I had said Gelsemium is great for everything except Epstein-Barr and MS, then you would have something to work with. But what we're talking about, my friends, are symptoms. Give me the name of the symptoms. Give me what this person is suffering. Oh, fatigue? Is it fatigue from Epstein-Barr? How do you know it's Epstein-Barr that's causing the fatigue? Are you sure about that? Are you really sure about that? I was told I had Epstein-Barr years ago. I think these things just show up in tests or don't show up. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't put a lot of credence into those kinds of tests that show Epstein-Barr. I'm going to be honest. HPV. If there's fatigue with HPV, if there's fatigue with Epstein-Barr, if there's fatigue with mono, if there's fatigue with MS, we would consider Gelsemium. Even though I'm telling you this is a viral section in the book. This is the viral rubric in the book under clinicals. If we looked under MS and we looked under fatigue, multiple sclerosis fatigue, we would probably find Gelsemium. I mean, I don't have it off the top of my head. So you see where we're going with this? Homeopathy is so much more elegant that it's almost hard to comprehend that it could be so simple. But it is. If there's a fever in a child, that's not a good example. The reason that's not a good example is because fevers in children and childhood diseases should just be left alone. Children should be allowed to get a fever. High fever. High fever is not 103, my friends. 104 is getting high. 105 is high. We want a fever. We want it high and hard. And you keep them hydrated. Make sure they're hydrated. That's the key to a high fever. Oh, let's use another example. Anyone else have an example? Let's see if somebody can give me. Yeah, we don't even know what it is, so use symptoms. We don't really know. Epstein-Barr is kind of a catch-all in my estimation. I realize it may show up on a lab, but we don't know that that's the cause. Do we? I'll tell you, I have people come to me and are treated for Epstein-Barr for years. People are treated for years for Lyme. And then they still have fatigue. And then we use Gelsemium or other medicines. Gelsemium's not the only one, my friends. We have other medicines too. We have China. We have sulfur. I'm trying to think of other fatigue. Phosphoric acid. We have lots of other medicines. But I'm going to tell you, my friends, that we're using the symptoms because it doesn't rely on labs. Yeah. Just trying to convince someone regarding fevers is work. Well, I'll tell you something interesting about those fevers. It used to be at the American Academy of Pediatrics on their website, they used to say, if your child has a fever, get them to the doctor. Wonder why they would say something like that. I wonder why. Can anyone imagine why? Now they've changed it, and I don't even know why they've done that. Now they've changed it, and they said that fever is often useful for correcting the condition. I have had chronic fatigue for over 10 years. We'll try Gelsemium 30 once a day. But that's not, I said, remember what I said earlier, generally we're going to use it twice in a day when it's a 30th potency. Okay? I'm not telling you what to do, but that's generally when we're using a 30th potency for a chronic condition, we're going to use it twice daily. Yes, and in practical homeopathy, which is what I teach, Karen's telling us, it doesn't rely on classical aggravations either. No kidding. Isn't that great? No aggravations. I mean, we might see a little acne present or something like that, one night of not sleeping quite as well as we had in the past. Yes, okay, so let's talk about that loss of taste and smell, shall we? Someone's telling me that they use sanguinaria, and that is exactly what I teach. I often teach that for that loss of smell, which is associated, of course, with taste, is sanguinaria 200C, twice daily. Sanguinaria. Listen, my friends, this is Latin. For those who don't know, excuse me. Excuse me. For those who don't know, this is Latin. And so it's actually very easy to pronounce. It's phonetic. It's exactly how it looks. So I'm going to show you smell. I'm in the nose smell section of the repertory. Now here are all the medicines right here. Diminished smell, it says. Now I looked up diminished smell, but there's also a loss of smell. And also there is a disturbed smell, or is it distorted? Okay. The medicines are anacardium. These are the top medicines. These are the ones that are bold and caps. Anacardium, belladonna, underlined and capped. Calcarea carbonicum, hyoscyamus, calibicromium, calicar. I'm reading them. You should be writing any of this down. Pulsatilla and sepia I'm on page 1697. Now we also have a loss of taste and diminished taste and smell further down. It's another rubric. Zincum. Interesting, isn't it? Zinc. We all know that zinc has a lot to do with smell. Zincum, pulsatilla, etc., etc. Any one of these medicines would act, but I have to mention that our beloved sanguinaria is a third level down. However, I start with sanguinaria. I start with sanguinarias. I said 200C twice daily. How about annoying, constant needing to clear throat or buildup of saliva and phlegm? You got it, Nora. I know. Lingering shortness of breath. Yeah. Well, look, I teach all of these in my courses and in my gateway classes. My gateway study groups, I should say. For those of you who have not been in a gateway study group, I can't urge you enough. It's very inexpensive. Just go to Joette's Learning Center, JOETTES, no apostrophe, Learning Center, and look at the courses that I have available. And the gateway is a study group where you will meet other people and meet up with others who are in the same boat. And I'm going to tell you, not only is it important that you meet up with them because you're in the same boat, but after a while you become friends and you help each other. Okay. So what I showed you tonight, to recap, is that whether it's a virus or it's not a virus, we're going to use the symptoms. We're going to use the symptoms of fatigue. And I told you that Gelsemium is one of my favorites. And it proved it also in the repertory. And with that long haul, we might still have not just fatigue, but also loss of smell. We can then look up smell, loss of or diminished, or with loss of taste as well. We look up those medicines and we choose something from that. And then we're also going to look up, because we really ought to, besides being, I'm only showing you viral because that's the way people think, but it doesn't have to be viral based at all. We can simply look under clinical and look under fatigue, chronic. And it will give you the same, give you medicines, and I guarantee Gelsemium is in there and it's important. Hydrastis, says Leanne. Hydrastis is also a very good one for loss of taste and smell. And let me see if it's in here. I'm sure hydrastis is in here. No, isn't that interesting? It's not in. It's not in the diminished smell, but it matters not. We've got other rubrics that we can always go to as well. Well, my friends, I think let's see if we have anything else. Shortness of breath with just walking since, 2 years later. Now I've talked about that. Shortness of breath is called asthma, my friends. Or it's not shortness of breath. I guess asthma is the definition of asthma is difficulty breathing if it's not an obstruction, of course. So I would call that a sort of asthma, right? And so I've taught that on my blog. So regardless, again, of the etiology, in other words, it doesn't matter what the disease was. Was it bacterial pneumonia? Was it viral pneumonia? Was it the virus? Was it the pollen in the air? nonetheless, we're going to use the same. All right, my friends, we've come to the half-hour point. And share this with your friends. It's the only way that we are going to build this momentum in the world. It is building. The number of followers here is gobsmacking. I'm always surprised at the numbers and how they're growing so quickly. And so what I urge you to do is to join a study group. And if you have already joined one and you enjoyed it, maybe you want to start a study group with your church mates, your homeschool friends, your neighbors, or virtually. Get people off from online. Tell them you're going to be running it. And it's a great little way to make an income as well, my friends. All right. Wonderful to see you all. God bless you. I'll see you next Monday night. Bye now.